Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist.
1 Minute Apologist.
Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions, to give a defense. What does Romans 1:26 through 27 say about homosexuality? In his letter to the Romans, Paul writes a few verses about homosexuality. In fact, he includes lesbianism, the only reference to lesbianism in all of God's scripture. Here's what Paul writes. He says in verse 26, "For this reason, God gave them up to dishonorable passions. For their women exchanged natural relations for those that are contrary to nature. And the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error." Paul says it's an error. It's a swapping of what is natural for what is unnatural. And what those who want to twist the Bible to say that it's okay to act out in homosexual behavior, what they'll say is they'll go, you know what? It's wrong if homosexual behavior is unnatural to you, but if it's natural to you, then it's okay. But there in that section of scripture, Paul talks about how men were consumed with lust for one another. A heterosexual is not going to be consumed with lust for the same sex. Rather, that would be something that a homosexual would be consumed with lust for the same sex. And not only that, you could take the 24 sins that are listed in verses 20 through 31 of Romans chapter 1, and we wouldn't apply that same logic. For instance, we wouldn't say, if it feels natural to you to commit idolatry, or if it feels natural for you to murder, or if it feels natural for you to steal, or if it feels natural for you to gossip, then go ahead and gossip and steal and commit idolatry. No, we wouldn't say that at all. And in the same way, Paul was wanting us to realize that there's a certain way that we are to operate. And the reason that homosexuality is forbidden here by Paul is because it is contrary to design. And therefore, we are not to act out of our desires, rather we are to act out of our design. And our design is where our identity is, in being made by God.